here today demonstrating the All Seasons Indoor Composter by STD Probiotics. This is a composter I use in my kitchen. I chop up my food scraps, including meat, bones, and dairy, and I compost it by sprinkling a handful of Bokashi on here. You'll notice that there's some white mold growing on the top, and this is beneficial mold, and it actually indicates that it's a very good bucket. If you have green mold, that's a bucket you want to get rid of, but anytime you see white mold, it's a good sign. A unique feature of this bucket is the spigot at the bottom that distributes a compost tea. So the compost tea falls to the bottom of the bucket, and you drain it off every couple days. If you don't drain it off, it starts to go bad, so you want to make sure you're checking it. But this is a very super concentrated compost tea, and it's excellent for houseplants, for garden plants. It makes my violets bloom like crazy. You add 1 or 2 tablespoons to a gallon of water, so it looks like a weak tea, and then you apply wherever needed. This bucket, this bucket has basically no odor to it. Some buckets will smell kind of sweet and sour like pickles, and sometimes you will have a definite odor to your bucket. It depends on what you're putting in there. But this one actually smells very good. I'm here to show you how I use the compost from my All Seasons Indoor Composter. There's a variety of ways that you can use it. You can dig a hole in the ground and bury your compost, but that's not always feasible for me, especially in the fall and the winter, or when I have too many buckets. I put my fermented food scraps in with my yard waste and my grass clippings and my traditional composter. Now this is an anaerobic method, and this is an aerobic method. However, I found that that adding the All Seasons food scraps into my outdoor composter really helps improve the quality of my compost. So what I do is I just dig a little hole in here and place the All Seasons compost in the composter, and since this does not like oxygen, I cover it up with some of the grass clippings, mix it in a little bit. And I've always had really good results doing this. As you can see, at the bottom we've got some nice compost. Well, it's turning into nice compost. And another thing you can do with a bucket if you don't have an outdoor composter is place it in a plastic bag, seal it up really tight, and store it in your basement for a couple of months. It actually will ferment even more. Gets better with age, like wine or cheese, since it is a fermented compost. And that's how I do it. So this is how I dig my All Seasons Indoor compost into my garden. I dig a trench in between my plants because this fermented compost is very acidic and you don't want it to touch the plant roots. So if I have existing plants, I just dig around them, and I dig a trench that's about 4 to 6 inches deep. The instructions say to dig it deeper, but I've always just done it this way and it works fine, works great. So you dig your trench and you place your compost in there. This has a lot of coffee grounds in it, which is great for the soil. And paper, the coffee filters. And then you just cover it up. And in 2 weeks, two or 3 weeks, you can plant on top of this. And the plants their roots won't get burnt. But that's how I use the compost in my garden.